Hello friends, I am Chetan Singadia from Dr. Subhash Technical Campus. You are watching the video lecture of the subject of Database and Management System. The subject code of this particular subject is 3130703. Let us see teaching and examination scheme for this subject. If you look at the teaching schemes, there are 4 lectures are there. There is no tutorial. Per week, 2 practical hours are there, and total credit of the subject is 5. If you look at here, the total marks of the subjects is 150. This 150 marks is divided into various component. The theory marks is divided something like this way. We have a 70 marks university level exams. This is, we can call it as an end semester examination. And another we have a 30 marks exam, which we can take it as a college level exam. And this PA is called as a progressive assessment. So this is 70 and 30, it is 100. Now we have a practical component also. In that also we have a EAC component, that is nothing but end semester examination, and for that particular component marks is 30. Once again it will be taken as a college level. And we have a PA component, that is nothing but progressive assessment, and for that we have a 20 marks, and which once again it is taken as a college level examination. So this is how this 150 marks is categorized on different components for this particular subject. Friends, for this particular subjects we are going to use this reference books for the database subjects. Like first one is Database System Concepts by Henry and Korth, Fundamental of Database System, that is R. Elmersri and S. Navate. Then third one is Introduction to Database Management System, that is CJ Date, and many more books are there. So these 5 books are for the theory purpose, and this rest of the 2 books, that is book number 7 and 6, that is Understanding of SQL by Martin Gruber, and SQL and PLSQL, the Programming Language of Oracle by Ivan Byros. So these 2 particular books is we are going to use for a practical purpose. So while understanding the database concept, you have to consider these 2 books for the practical purpose and these 5 books for the theory purpose. Other than reference books, there are list of open source learning websites are there for this particular subjects. Here I have written few websites, that is tutorialspoint.com, W3C Schools, Code Academy, Udacity, and many more websites are there from which we can learn this database management subject. In this subject, we are going to understand this kind of experiment during the semester. So let us see what are their experiments. The first experiment is to study DDL create and DML insert commands. Second practical is create table and insert sample data into the tables. The third experiment is perform queries involving predicates like between and in, etc. The fourth experiment is to perform various data manipulation commands, aggregate functions, and sorting concepts on all created tables. The fifth experiment is to study single row functions. The sixth experiment is display data from multiple tables, which is nothing but joint concept of database management system. The seventh one is to apply the concept of aggregating data using group functions. Then we have to understand the subquery concept. Then we have to understand security and privileges. Also we would like to see the transaction control commands in the PLSQL block. We will also going to see how to write the cursor and trigger. So friends, these are the experiments which we are going to understand throughout this semester to understand this particular subject, that is nothing but database management system. Now to perform this many experiment, we need a major equipments. So what we need? We need a computer system, or we can say a laptop with a DBMS system. So in our we are going to see in the next few minutes what is DBMS system. Friends, we would also like to see that what are the course outcomes, or we can say learning outcomes of this particular subject. Like here I am trying to say is that after understanding or after studying these subjects, what students are able to do, or student is able to understand. So I have written here 6 outcomes. Let us see one by one. So first learning outcomes, or we can say course outcome, is it is identify the basic concepts and various data models used in database design, ER modeling concepts, and architecture use and design query using SQL. So this is the first course outcome that we are going to see in our this subject. Second course outcome is to apply relational database theory and will able to describe the relational algebra expression, tuples and domain and relational expression for that particular queries. Another one is the third course outcome is we are going to recognize and identify the use of normalization and functional dependency, indexing and hashing technique which are used in database design. The fourth outcome is we are once again recognize and identify the purpose of query processing, optimization, and also demonstrate the basic use of query evaluation. The fifth outcome is we are going to then apply and relate the concept of transaction, concurrency control and recovery in database design. The sixth one, and that is the last one, discuss recovery system and be familiar with introduction to web database, distributed databases and web warehousing and mining. So friends, after understanding these subjects, we are going to see these are the course outcome which we are you are going to able to understand this concept for this particular subject. Now let us see what are the job opportunities are there for this particular subject. So the first one is you will become a database administrator, you will become a data administrator, you will become a database application developer, you will become data scientist, which is one of the hot jobs in the current IT industry. Once again, that is a data science engineer, and one more we have, that is big data developers, and many more jobs are there for this particular subjects in the IT industry. These are the few MNC companies in which you can work for the subject of database, for the job profile of database administrator, data science engineer, a big data developer, and so on. Here I have listed a few IT companies. There are many more companies in which you can find your best suitable job for this particular subject. So friends, till now we understand the teaching and examination scheme of this subject, that is database management system. We have also seen the reference books which we are going to see or going to refer for this particular subject for the theory and practical purpose. List of open source learning websites for a database and management subject. We have also seen the list of experiments which we are going to perform for this particular subjects during the semester. Then we have seen the major equipments. Then we have seen the course outcome, or we can say learning outcomes for this particular subjects. Job opportunities in IT industry for the subject of database and management system. At last, job opportunities in MNC companies. So friends, now we are going to see this many topics for this now let us see this list of topics one by one in detail. That is, what is data, what is information, the difference between data and information, what is database, what is DBMS, the example of DBMS, history of DBMS, characteristics of DBMS, DBMS files versus flat files, users in a DBMS environments, or we can say the database users, the popular DBMS softwares. Then we are going to see the types of DBMS, and at the last we are going to see the application of DBMS, advantages and disadvantages of DBMS. Now let us see what is data. A data is a raw material or static value or fact. Or we can say a data is defined a fact or a figure or information that's stored or used by a computer. One more way we can categorize the data, that is nothing but data is a raw and unorganized fact that required to be processed to make it meaningful. Data can be simple, at the same time unorganized unless it is organized. Generally, the data comprises facts, observations, perceptions, characters, symbols, image, etc. So this is what the definition of data. Let me revise once again. What is data? We can simply say that data is a raw material, or we can say it is a static value or fact. We can categorize one more way, that is nothing but data is a raw and unorganized fact that requires to be processed to make it meaningful. So this is what the definition of data. Now let us see what is the example of data. An example of data is nothing but is an information collected for a research paper, that we can call it as an example of data. Once again we can say that email is an example of data. Country name India, it's an example of a data. Student name, here I have written Subhas, that is once again a data. An example state is a Gujarat, is nothing but an example of data. So friends, this is what the definition of data and example of data. I hope you understand what is data and how we can categorize the data and what is actually a data and how we can understand in the form of example. Then let us understand what is information. When data is processed, organized, structured, or presented in a given context, so as it to make it useful, which is nothing but an information. Or we can say when the data is processed, and when data is processed, that we are going to use that particular information for a particular operation. So we can call it as a information. Example, the average score of a class or the entire school information, which is nothing but an information, example of information. So we can say that what we understand, the average score of class. So that average score of class is nothing but one information. Or entire school information, the entire school data is nothing but one type of information. The most people believe that the term data and information are interchangeable. That means they both are same. Here data are not same, because data is a raw material and information is a processed data. So these both the things are different. Here if you can see this figure, we have a data, we have a 3 data. After that it is going to be processing, and then after processing it will become information. So here first it is a raw material, then raw material is going to be processed, and then after processing of that raw material it will become an information. So this is how we can categorize the data and information. Now let us differentiate the data and information in the context of database management system. Raw facts gather about a condition, event, idea, entity, and or anything else which is bare or random, which is called data. It's a simple, that means if it is a raw data or it is a simple collection of data, that we can call it as a data. Then we have information, which is nothing but it refers to the fact concerning a particular event or a subjects which are refined by a processing. That means when the data is processed, it will become as a information. So this is what the first difference between data and information. Next one is the data are simple text and numbers. The data are simple text and numbers, while information is processed and interpreted data. So this is next difference between data and information. Let us see third one. Data is in unorganized form. That means it is randomly collected facts and figures which are processed to be draw conclusions. On the other hand, when the data is organized, it becomes the information which presents the data in a better way and gives meaning to it. So this is nothing but when we are going to say it will receive a meaning of that particular data, that means data is processed, and which is nothing but it is information. So this is our third difference between data and information. Let us see next one. Data is based on observations and records which are stored in a computers or simply remembered by a person. As against this, information is considered more reliable than data, as per the proper analysis is conducted to convert data into information by the researcher or investigator. So this is what the difference between data and information. Now let us see few more differences of data and information. The data collected by the researcher may or may not be useful to him, as when the data is gathered. So it is not known what they are about and what they are represent. Conversely, or we can say opposite of that, information is valuable and useful to the researcher because it is presented in given context and so readily available to the researcher for the use. So this is one of the most appropriate difference from which you will able to understand the difference between data and information. Another difference is that data is not always specific to the need of the researcher. What is that? Data is not always specific to the need of researcher, but the information is always specific to his requirements and expectation, because all the irrelevant facts, figures are eliminated during the transformation of the data into the information. And the last difference is when it comes to dependency, data does not depend on information. However, the information cannot exist without data. So this is how we can differentiate the data and information together. Now let us understand what is database. A database is an organized collection of data generally stored and accessed electronically from a computer system. What is database? A database is an organized collection of data generally stored and accessed electronically from a computer system. The database is a collection of interrelated data which helps in efficient retrieval, insertion and deletion of data from database and organizes the data in the form of table, views and schemas and reports. We will see that table, views and schema in our upcoming videos. Now, so what is the example of database? For example, a university database organizes the data about student, faculty and admin staff, etc., which helps in efficient retrieval, insertion and deletion of data from it. So this is what an example of database. Let me explain once again this database. What is database? A database is a collection of interrelated data which helps in efficient retrieval, insertion and deletion of data from a database and organizes the data in the form of table, views and schemas, reports, etc. Or we can say a database is an organized collection of data generally stored and accessed electronically from a computer system. So this is what the definition of database and example of database. We have seen the university example for this database. Now let us understand what is DBMS. A DBMS is a software package which designed to define, manipulate, retrieve and manage the data in a database. So here the DBMS software is nothing but whatever the data we have, that data we are going to organize in the form of table. So first we will going to define, then we are going to organize in the form of table, then we are going to manipulate, retrieve and manage the data in a database. So this DBMS software, or we can say this DBMS software package, will help us to provide such functionality to define, manipulate and retrieve the data for that particular operation. So this is nothing but a DBMS system. Let us see the example of this DBMS system. So here we would like to explain the university database example. This database is maintaining the information concerning student courses, grades in a university environment. The database is organized as a 5 files. For example, the student file stored the data of each student. Course file stores the content data on each course. The section stores the information about the section in a particular course. The grade file scores the grade which students receive in a various sections. The tutor file which contains the information about each processor. So this is what a typical example of database management system for the university database. Here that we have seen the student file, course file, section file, grade file and tutor file. Now we are going to see the history of DBMS. Here there are important landmarks from the history about this subject, that is DBMS. In 1960, Charles Beckman designs the first DBMS system. In 1960, Charles Beckman designed the first DBMS system. Then in 1970, Code introduced IBM's Information Management System, that is IMS, and IMS stands for Information Management System, which will be introduced by Code in 1970. Then in 1976, Peter Kane coined and defined the entity relationship model, which is known as ER diagram, or we can say ER model, entity relationship model. And then in 1980, the relational models becomes a widely accepted database component for this particular subjects. And in 1985, the object-oriented DBMS develops. Then in 1990s, the incorporation of object orientation in a relational database. Then in 1991, the Microsoft ships the MS Access, a personal DBMS, and that displaces all other personal DBMS products. And in 1995, the first internet database application will release. And at the last, in 1997, the XML applied to database processing. So this is what the small history of DBMS, or we can say a database management system. This is very much interesting. Now let us see what are the characteristics of DBMS. There are few important characteristics that we are going to see. Let's see. First, provides the security and remove redundancy. We will see what is the redundancy and security in detail in our upcoming video lecture. Self-describing nature of database management system, insulation between programs and data abstractions, support of multiple views of the data. Views also we are going to see in our upcoming video lectures. Sharing of data and multi-user transaction processing. DBMS allows entities and relations amongst them to form a tables. Will also follows the ACID concept. That ACID is nothing but atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability. That we will see in the chapter number 6 in transaction management system. What is ACID properties actually? The DBMS supports a multi-user environment that allows user to access and manipulate the data in parallel. So these are the important characteristics of DBMS. Now after understanding these many things, we have to understand what is the difference between flat file and DBMS file, or we can say the difference between DBMS and flat file. Let us see one by one. In DBMS, it is multi-user access system, while a flat file, it does not support multi-user access system. In DBMS, it is designed to fulfill the need of small and large businesses, whereas in a flat file, it is only limited to similar DBMS system. Sorry, it is not similar, it is a smaller DBMS system. In DBMS, it removes the redundancy and integrity, while in a flat file, there is an issue of redundancy and integrity. In DBMS, it is expensive, but in the long term, total cost of ownership is cheap, while in case of flat file, it is more cheaper than DBMS. And the last difference between DBMS and flat file is it is easy to implement complemented transaction in DBMS file system, while in case of flat file management system, it does not support for a complicated transaction while operating on a data. So this is how we can differentiate the DBMS management system, or we can say DBMS or flat file management system. So after understanding the difference between DBMS and flat file management system, we will also like to see the users in DBMS environment, or we can say the database user. The first user is application programmer. So the responsibility of this user, or we can say task of this user, is the application programmer write programs in various programming languages to interact with databases. The another user in DBMS environment, or we can say the database user, is database administrator. The role of this user is database admin is responsible for managing the entire DBMS system, and he or she is called the database admin or DBA. The another user is end user. The end user are the people who interact with the database management system. They conduct various operations on database like retrieving, updating and deleting, etc. So friends, these are the users in a DBMS environment, or we can say users in DBMS. This is important questions, and we have to understand also. So there are three users that we have seen: application programmer, database admin and user. Now let me show you the most popular DBMS softwares are there for the practical purpose. Here there are a list of some popular DBMS systems are listed out. Let's see one by one. MySQL, Microsoft Access, Oracle, PostgreSQL, DBase, FoxPro, SQLite, IBM DB2, LibreOffice Base, MariaDB, Microsoft SQL Server, and many more. So these are the popular DBMS softwares, which is nothing but a DBMS system on which we are going to perform we are going to define, manipulate and retrieving the information based on the data. We can use any of the DBMS software or system to perform a practical that we have seen previously for this particular subjects. Now let us see the application of DBMS. So there are various sectors in which we are going to use this DBMS system, such as banking, airlines, universities, telecommunication, finance, sales, manufacturing, HR management, and many more. Let us see how banking is useful for a DBMS. For a banking, customer information, account activities, payments, deposits and loan, etc. it will be used for this purpose. For airlines, for a reservation and schedule information. For universities, for a student information, course registration and colleges and grades. Then next sector is telecommunication, or we can say next application is telecommunication. It helps to keep call records, monthly bills, and maintaining the balances. Finance application is important part of DBMS for storing information about the stock sales and purchases of financial instruments like stocks and bonds. Then we have a next application is sales. It is used for storing customer and product and sales information. So these are the many sectors in which the DBMS system is used for a various purpose. So it is according to the application we are going to use this DBMS system. For example, whether it can be a manufacturing, sales, finance, or HR management. If HR management is there, for that it will be used for information about the employees, salaries and payroll system, the generation of paychecks, and etc. and so on. So this is how, and these are the sectors in which the DBMS system is used, and for this kind of different purposes, or we can say it is nothing but the applications of DBMS. So now we are going to see the types of DBMS. There are 4 types of DBMS. The first one is hierarchical DBMS, network DBMS, relational DBMS, and object-oriented DBMS. Let us see each one in detail. Let us understand what is hierarchical DBMS. In this type of DBMS system, model data is organized in a tree-like structure. Here you can see there is a tree-like structure is given. So this is what hierarchical DBMS. The data is stored hierarchically, or we can say top down or bottom down format. Here you can see the data is organized or stored in a top to bottom or bottom to top format. So this is what hierarchical DBMS once again. Then data is represented using parent-child relationship. Here also you can see the data is represented as a parent and child relationship. Here you can see there is a child and this root is a parent. So this how you can represent such kind of database system in a DBMS. In this kind of system, parent may have many children. Here you can see there are many children are there for this particular system, but children have only one parent. But children have only one parent. Means the parent may have more than one children. Here you can see there are more than one children, and that children have only one parent. So there is only one parent, that is root. So if such kind of DBMS system is there, then we can say that it is hierarchical database model, or we can say hierarchical DBMS system. Now let us understand what is network model, or we can say network DBMS. The network database models allows each child to have multiple parents. So it is quite opposite from hierarchical DBMS. In hierarchical DBMS we have seen that each child have one parent, but in network DBMS each child have multiple parents. So here you can see in this diagram each child have a multiple parents. It helps you to address the need to model more complex relationship, like as the order parties, many to many relationships, and so on. In this model, entities are organized in a graph. So here you can see that entities, these are the entities: stores, customer, manager, salesman, and these are the entities, and which are organized in a graph, which can be accessed through several paths. So if you want to access these entities, and for that we have several paths. So this is what a network DBMS. Now let us understand what is relational model, or we can say relational DBMS. Relational DBMS is the most widely used DBMS model because it is one of the easiest. This model is based on normalizing data in a row and columns of the table. Here you can see in this figure the data is normalized using these columns. This one is a column, and this horizontal line is a row, and this vertical line is a column. So this is how it is going to be normalized in this kind of database system. Relational model stores the fixed structure and manipulated using SQL. So if such kind of DBMS system is there, store the data in a fixed structure, and they are going to manipulate using structured query language, that is SQL. Now let me explain this figure. So here you can see we have a one relational variable. That relational variable is nothing but that is a table name. So that here the table name is R. If we have a table, then we have once again we have attributes also. That attributes is nothing but a number of columns which are unordered. So the attributes are, or we can say columns are, from A1 to AN. And that attributes is nothing but heading of relational DBMS system. Then this one is a tuple. This entire one is a tuple, and here is a tuple. And this is the body part, and this is entire this data is a relational table, or we can say a relation. So this is a relation. So this is attribute, this is table name, this is heading, this is body, this thing is body, and this is entire relation. And this value row is there, which is nothing but table row unordered. That means we can say it is a tuple, or we can say it is a row. So this is how you can relate this relational model or relational DBMS in this database management system. Now let us understand what is object-oriented model. The object-oriented model data stores in the form of object. This kind of model data stored in the form of objects. So this is one object, object 2, and so on. The structure which is called classes. This structure is called a classes, which display data within it. Which display, if you can see, if we can consider this is object and this is our class maintenance report, and if you want to display data, so you can display data in it. That means you can display your data within it. It defines a database as a collection of objects which stores both data member. Here there is a data member and data member values and operations. If you can see, here is the data member and data member values and their operations. So these are the activity that is nothing but your operation. So this is what object oriented DBMS, or we can say object oriented model. Now let us compare the object oriented DBMS model with respect to relational model. If it is object oriented, then we have a class. If it is relational, then we have a relation or a table. If it is object oriented, then we have object or object instance. If it is relational, then we have a tuple or record. If it is object oriented, then we have a variable. If it is relational, then we have an attribute or column. If it is object oriented model, we have a method. Here we have a stored procedure. So this is how you can relate object oriented model with relational model, or we can say object oriented DBMS with respect to relational DBMS. Now let us see what are the advantages of database management system. The first advantage is it offers a variety of techniques to store and retrieve the data. What is it? It offers the variety of techniques to store and retrieve the data. The second advantage is it serves as an efficient handler to balance the need of multiple applications using the same data. And the third advantage is the uniform administration procedures for the data is available. The next one, application programmers never expose to details of data representation and storage. The fifth advantage is a DBMS uses various powerful functions to store and retrieve data efficiently. It also offers integrity and security. It also implies integrity constraint to get a high level protection against the prohibited access of data. The DBMS schedules concurrent access to the data in such a manner that only one user can access the same data at a time. One of the most important advantage is it will reduce the application development time. So friends, these are the advantage of typical DBMS system which will feel when we are going to perform and query on a database management system. Now let us understand the disadvantages of DBMS system. The first disadvantage is the cost of hardware and software of a DBMS is quite high. So it will ultimately increase the budget of your organization. So the cost is increased due to the high availability of hardware and software. Most database management systems are often complex systems. So the training for the users to use the DBMS is required. So every time training is required because the DBMS system is often complex system. Another disadvantage is in some organization all the data is integrated into a single database which can be damaged because of electronic failure or a database is corrupted on the storage media. So here they are going to say is that there is a single database and everyone is working on that particular database. If something is happened, for example power failure or database is corrupted on a storage media, so the entire database will be dropped or failed. Another disadvantage is that the use of same program at the time by many users sometimes lead to a loss of some data. When everybody is accessing the same data, at that time we may face the problem of loss of data. So this is what that. Then another disadvantage is that DBMS cannot perform a sophisticated calculations because we are going to perform a complex operations in this system. So these are the few disadvantages also in a DBMS system. So friends, let us summarize the things in this video lecture till now what we have covered. We have seen that definition of data and information. We have also seen the difference between data and information. Then we have seen the definition of database. Also we have seen the example. We have seen the definition of DBMS. We have also seen the advantage and disadvantage of database management system. We have also seen the difference between DBMS system and flat file management system. We have seen the users of DBMS, or we can say the users of DBMS environments. We have seen the applications of DBMS systems like banking, airlines, telecommunication, finance and other industries. We have seen the types of DBMS systems like hierarchical, network, relational and object oriented DBMS. So this is what the introduction of database management system. So friends, let me recap that what are the topics that we covered during this video lecture. What is data? What is information? Difference between data and information. What is database? What is DBMS? The example of DBMS, history of DBMS, characteristics of DBMS, DBMS versus flat file, users in DBMS, popular DBMS software, the types of DBMS, application of DBMS, advantages and disadvantages of DBMS. We also seen the comparison of relational model and object oriented model in types of DBMS system. So this is what I hope you understand what is this all topics. If you have any query, then you can put your comment in Google Classroom. Thank you.